Today I'm going to show you how to isolate and strengthen your lower traps to improve your shoulder posture and function. What's going on? How you doing, you guys? It's Blake Bowman here with GuerrillaZen Fitness, and today I'm going to be showing you how to isolate and strengthen the lower traps so that you can improve your shoulder posture and the way that your shoulders function and move. To begin, most people, especially bodybuilders, actually, if they do directly train their trapezius, they train the upper trapezius, okay? Right up here. These muscle fibers of the trapezius are the most visible, which is likely why they're, directly isolated and trained by individuals doing shoulder shrugs and things like that. They're also worked indirectly from doing things like deadlifts. Anytime you're holding a heavy load in your arms, you're loading up the upper traps and they are subsequently getting worked and will subsequently get stronger. What we have to keep in mind here is the concept of muscular balance and relative strength and tension. Long story short, most people are overdeveloped and have too much tension in their upper trapezius relative to the lower fibers of the trapezius, the lower traps specifically and the middle traps. Essentially, the muscles of the shoulder that shrug the shoulder up in most people are too strong and overdeveloped relative to the muscles that depress the shoulder blades, pull the shoulder blades down the back. Having an imbalanced relationship between the upper traps and the lower traps is very common, and it's associated with upper cross syndrome, which is forward head posture, overactive upper traps, shoulders shrugged up and rounded forwards, mouth breathing, a stress response, and a variety of other things like discomfort and chronic tension in the back of the neck, top of the shoulder region. I'm not saying that strengthening and isolating your upper traps is bad. What I am saying is, if you're going to isolate your upper traps, you also want to do something to isolate your lower traps so that you have muscular balance between these two areas. What I'm going to share with you today are my 4 favorite exercises for addressing this issue of too much overactivity of the upper traps, too much underactivity and weakness of the lower traps. All right, with no further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing that we're going to start with is actually not a strengthening exercise for the lower traps, but self-myofascial release, self-massage of the upper traps to turn down the neurological drive going into them, telling them to turn on all the time, right? The reason why this step is very, very important is because oftentimes when people are trying to isolate their lower traps, what they end up doing whenever they're doing a variety of these exercises, which I'll show you in a second, is they shrug their shoulders up while they're doing these motions, trying to isolate the lower traps. When you're shrugging your shoulders up like this, you're getting activation of the upper trap. And you're potentially contributing to more overactivity in these upper trapezius muscle fibers, which you may already have going on if you're watching this video. So what we need to do is shut these down, regulate that neurological drive going into them, and temporarily inhibit them, weaken them strategically, so that we can actually recruit and turn on the fibers of the lower traps, because we do not want to be shrugging up like this. And if you have a lot of tension in here, you're going to have a tremendous propensity to do so, all right? Your shoulders are going to want to do that by default. We need to be able to keep them down. What I'm going to show you right now helps with that. If you have something like this is a Theracane, this is really useful for this. You can basically just kind of grab the Theracane like this, apply the pressure from the end of the knob into the upper trap, shrug up, hold for about 10 seconds, all right? Really trying to activate the upper trap. And then you maintain pressure in it with the massager and just relax, right? That allows the shoulder to drop down, right? This is called a contract and relax, style of self-myofascial release. You can do that a couple times on each trap. That will really go a long way in turning them off. If you don't have a Theracane and you have 2 lacrosse balls available, you can do something similar. It's a little bit different though. You basically will take these, put them on top of your upper traps like this, lay back, try to position them so that they're kind of digging into your upper traps. Lift your hips up a little bit, all right? And now just kind of pump the arms up and down like this. This will give you a nice release of the upper trapezius. You can do this for probably about 10 to 15 reps, maybe more if it feels really good for you. Before I move on to the other movements, just realize how important that first one that I just showed you is, right? If you have a lot of that overactivity in here, you're super tight in here all the time, the back of your neck is tight, you find yourself shrugging your shoulders up a lot when you're doing a variety of different exercises, that exercise that I just showed, the release of the upper traps is critical, because it's going to be very hard for you to turn on the lower traps with these next exercises if you don't do this first. All right, so the first legit lower trap strengthening exercise that I'm going to show you, I just call this a prone Y press to raise. All right, And the way that you're gonna do this, you can do this on a bench or you can simply do it on the floor, just like I am right now. You're gonna lay down on your belly. I'm trying to get in the frame here. There we go. Lay down on your belly. You're going to keep your butt clenched, your abs tight. You're gonna kind of lift up here like this, keeping the chin tucked. Don't be looking forward. Keep the chin tucked, kind of press back like this. You're gonna bring your arms in. You're gonna press out like a capital Y, and then you're gonna raise. And then lower, come back, press out like a capital Y, raise up a few inches, come back down, come back in. All right, that's the movement. It's pretty simple to do. Again, what you want to be mindful of is not shrugging the shoulders up when you're doing this. Actively pull the shoulder blades down as you're performing that movement the entire time. If you're finding it really hard to do that, go back to the first exercise and do some more self-myofascial release of the upper trapezius. That's a mouthful. I can't really talk today. All right, this next exercise is called a back widow. I recently learned this from Jeff Cavalier. And I actually really like this movement. I've been experimenting with it in my own workouts, and I find it really effective. So the way that you're going to perform this, you're going to lay on your back, knees bent, feet planted flat on the floor. You're going to put your elbows on the floor, not touching your sides, not off perpendicular either, somewhere in between, all right, about a 45-degree angle here. What you're going to do is you're going to pull your shoulder blades down into the ground like this, extend the thoracic spine a little bit. Okay, lift the chest up, and then come back down. What you're doing here, what I want you to think about is depressing the shoulder blades down, pulling the shoulder blades down, and pinching them together at the same time, like this, okay? And you're driving from your elbows, really kind of lifting the chest off the floor, right? You might not have very much range of motion here. This is sort of a real specific isolation exercise with a narrow range of motion, all right? But this is pretty much how you do it. For this, you know, that's pretty much it. It's very simple to do. Again, you want to be mindful of the other things that we've been talking about here, not shrugging up the shoulders as you're making that movement. This last one is called a scapular depression iso hold, all right? It's pretty simple to do this as well. You're going to do it seated. You're basically going to start upright, seated like this. You can extend your legs out in front of you if you'd like to. But what we're really focusing on here is kind of creating some external rotation torque in the shoulders. So pretend like your hands are on plates and you're trying to spin them away like that, okay? Trying to spin them this direction. However, the plates are glued and your hands aren't moving, but you still apply that torque throughout all the, you know, arm and shoulder, right? So you're doing this, chin tucked. You're gonna press yourself up just a little bit like this and hold. This is it, all right? You're externally rotating the arms, depressing the scapula down, and holding, right? This works kind of the lats as well. You know, I wanted to show you a couple of different ways to isolate the lower traps today. So experiment with all of these and throw them into your routine, especially if you have a lot of those, you know, upper trap overdevelopment tightness issues that I talked about at the beginning. There you have it. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you subscribe down below. Give this video a like. If you're not following me on Instagram yet, make sure you go ahead and do that. I upload there several times a week, and a lot of the stuff I put over there I do not put here on YouTube. If you have a lot of muscle imbalances and you feel like your workouts are making them worse, then check out my free functional training plan. This is called 3-Day Functional Training Split. It's a free workout that I put together that is designed around compound exercises to build muscle mass and strength. But what I did is I integrated corrective exercises into it so that you're actually improving your posture and your muscular balance as you perform this workout. All right, it's free, it's available on my website. All you need to do to get it is open up the description down below, click the first link available there. That will take you over to my website where I'll ask you for your email. As soon as you enter in your email, I'll send you that guide right away. If you're looking for another spot to get my free workout, 3-Day Functional Training Split, you can do that right over here. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that right over here. I'm trying to upload here every week again. And if you want to see a video similar to this one, kind of the same vein, check this out over here. That's it for today. See you next time.